Okay, so hi Rosario, again. I have a terrible, not a headache, but a big ache. Me duelen los dientes, no sé por qué. Oh, how is it? I went to the dentist, and I got you know, how is it? I went on what day it was? Oh, I went yesterday. Yes. And I got a bleaching, okay, a teeth bleaching blanqueamiento. So it hurts. It really hurts. I can't even the air come to my mouth because it is terrible. I have too much sensibility right now, but I'm going to do my best. I can talk right now. I can talk very well, so I'm going to try to do my best. So we're going to start with today's classes. And we're going to continue with another new lesson. Oh, this lesson. This lesson, my goodness. No, you know what? Vamos a cambiar la lección del día de hoy. Hoy día vamos a ver los separable phrasal verbs. Se supone que deberíamos ver el presente perfecto continuo, pero prefiero ver el tema, uno de los temas más sencillos que hay, así enfocarnos el día de mañana directamente con el presente perfecto continuo que vas a estar acá presente, ¿ok? Sí, sí, sí. No hay mejor opción que eso. Así, si tenemos dudas, preguntamos ese momento. Yes, that's what we're going to do. Oh, we saw this lesson about infinitive purpose. And I'm going to send you a PDF. Te voy a enviar un PDF. Okay, where is it? Well, I can find my PDF. Okay, I don't find my PDF, but instead of sending you that, I'm going to send you video, okay? Yes, that's going to be better. Okay, so we're going to start with today's classes. It's not going to last that much. I'm going to send you now to your WhatsApp, okay? So give me a second, please. I'm going to do it right now. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to continue. I already sent you the audio and let's continue.
Hi, it's Emily. Are you ready for some grammar? Well, I won't let you down. I've picked out separable phrasal verbs to study. They're important, and we use them all the time. Let someone down and pick something out are separable phrasal verbs. Let's learn more, okay?
Okay, so we have pick up something or pick something out. Let down someone or let someone down. Are some examples about the separable phrasal verbs. As you can see, the noun, the lesson by itself has the name. Separable phrasal verbs are those verbs that we can separate, okay? Let's take a view.
Phrasal verbs are verbs that have two parts, a verb plus a particle. Sit out is a phrasal verb. Sit is the verb. Out is the particle. The particle looks just like a preposition, but it is actually one part of this two-part verb. The particle often changes the meaning of the verb.
You mean you didn't take a bribe to sit out the game?
In the example, sit out means not play. As you can see, the verb sit plus the particle out means something completely different from the verb sit by itself.
Okay, let's remember, this is something that we've seen the other class. And we have separable phrasal verbs and we also have the inseparable phrasal verbs. Let's remember that separable phrasal verbs are those, well, the phrasal verb is a verb. It's a verb plus a particle. Okay, so it is two parts, 1 and 2. For example, we have sit out. Okay, sit out is a phrasal verb. Sit is the verb and out is a particle. It looks like a preposition, but is the second part of the verb. The particle often changes the meaning of the verb. For example, sit has a name, a meaning by itself. But when I'm going to join with the particle out, in this case, you mean that you didn't take a bribe to sit out the game? Sit out is like we're not, okay, like we not play anymore, okay? So as you can see, it looks very different from the verb itself. So yes, we have to see that it really changed. And this is what we talked the other class. I don't know if you remember. We have to see, we have to take care with we have to take care at the moment with the particle. What particle are we going to use? It depends on the meaning for sure. And yes, that will be okay. So the meaning is completely different from the verb itself. Sit is like siéntate. Sit down, siéntate. Okay. But if I say sit out, es como renunciar, como dejar el juego. No como renunciar, sino como no jugar. Dejar de jugar puede ser. So as you can see, it has a different meaning. So we need to take care. What are we going to use? What particle are we going to use? Let's continue. Okay. Oh. Okay.
Some phrasal verbs are separable. This means that the noun object can come either after the two parts of the verb.
Why don't you clear up this whole thing?
Or the noun object can come between the two parts of the verb.
Why don't you clear this whole thing up?
Okay. So when we say separable, this means that the noun object, in this case, is the whole thing. Ese es el nombre. So you have two options: to put it at the end, clear up this whole thing, or clear this whole thing up. Entonces, cuando decimos que es un separable, quiere decir que podemos poner en medio del particle, ¿ok? en este caso del verbo y del particle, va justamente en medio o puedes ponerlo al final, entonces tienes dos opciones. So you have two options. And it's up to you which one are you going to use. Okay, both are okay, there is no difference. The meaning is completely the same. And why don't clear up this whole thing? Okay, when we say clear up, it's like solve. Okay, aclarar, aclarar. ¿Por qué no aclaras esta situación? Why don't you clear up this situation, for example? Why don't you clear this situation up? As you can see, it is curious how it works. Okay, so you have two options. It's up to you. Which one are you going to use?
When the object of a phrasal verb is a pronoun, a word like him, her, or it must go between the verb and the particle. Why didn't you play in the first round qualifying game?
I sat it out because I had a sprained ankle.
Okay. What happened with the audio? Okay. When the object of a phrasal verb is a pronoun, a word like him, her, or it must go between the verb. Okay. En este caso, vamos a ver que tenemos un nombre. Okay, this whole thing. Es un nombre, tal cual. Pero ¿qué hay acerca de esto? Him, her, or it es un objeto. Okay, es un pronoun, es an object pronoun. It is an object pronoun. Him, her, or it. So it needs to be in the middle, not at the end. I sat out it. No, it doesn't exist. Unless you're going to write a noun, this whole thing, the Aaron, the, I don't know, well, it doesn't go with the context, but it's only an example, the bottle of water, the mouth, the gap. Okay, so whatever you want, so it needs to be a noun. That's all. But if it is going to be an object pronoun, words like him, her, it, so it needs to be in the middle, okay, between the verb and the particle. There is no way to change it, okay, so please, you have to take care in that part. What else can we say? So that's all. We're going to watch a video. Where is it? First of all, I would like to send you the video, the first video of the lesson. Where is it? Yes, this one, because this is a short one. Okay, meanwhile, my WhatsApp web loads. We're going to continue. This is about the first part of the recording, right? So it is loading. Give me a second, please. Okay, so yes, it is there. Oh, it is a link. Okay, so you're going to listen to the audio, please. And now we're going to talk about the last lesson, separable phrasal verbs. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's pay attention.
Looking up the answer. He is looking the answer up. He is looking up the answer. He is looking the answer up. Different word order, but the same meaning.
I don't like her dress.
Today's lesson is all about separable phrasal verbs. So first of all, what is a phrasal verb? Well, the dictionary definition of phrasal verb is an idiomatic phrase consisting of a verb and another element, typically an adverb, such as break down, or a preposition, for example, see to. or a combination of both, such as look down on. Basically, it's when you have a verb and a particle which come together to change the meaning of the verb. So, for example, to look means to watch or notice something with your eyes, but to look up means to research, usually on the internet. Do you see how by adding the particle to the verb, it completely changes the meaning? So that's a phrasal verb. And if you're new to phrasal verbs or you'd like to brush up on them, there's another one, brush up. This means refresh your memory. If you'd like to brush up on them, then there'll be a link in the description box to a video all about phrasal verbs. So what's different about separable phrasal verbs? A separable phrasal verb is a phrasal verb where the verb and the particle can be separated within a sentence to give the listener more information. For example, the phrasal verb to take back. I could say, I'm going to take these books back to the library, or I don't like these shoes, I'm going to take them back. To take back means to return something. And so by separating the two parts of the phrasal verb, we can give the listener more information about what it is you are taking back. The rule is that the pronoun can never come after the particle. So you shouldn't say, I don't like it, I'm going to take back it. Instead, you would say, I don't like it, I'm going to take it back. Now, I'm going to read you a letter about a community effort to make a town a nicer place to live. I'd like you to count all of the separable phrasal verbs you hear throughout the story and leave a comment with your answer. Are you ready? Dear resident, I'm writing to you today about some small changes that we can all make to make this town a nicer place to live. The first small thing you can do is to pick your litter up off the ground and put it in the bin. To help with the litter problem, the local supermarket will no longer provide plastic bags. So you should bring them along from home. The supermarket will also be rewarding you for bringing old plastic bottles back in. Once you have finished with your plastic bottle, you can take it.
Well, I
to the
have
shop
another
and
one.
receive
Give me a second. I'm going
credit
to look for it. Okay, this one.
Okay, call means to telephone. So this sentence means they telephoned the football match and they talked with the ball. Call up is a phrasal verb, which means to cancel. Therefore, the sentence means they cancel the football match. I just made this example to show you why watching this video is super important, because I'm going to mention every detail about phrasal verbs. First, let's see what a phrasal verb is. A phrasal verb forms a normal verb with an adverb or a preposition. Create an entirely new verbal phrase. For example, get over. It's a phrasal verb which combines verb with a preposition, and it means to be well again after an illness. We call the second part particle. So phrasal verb is a verb plus a particle, and that particle can be an adverb or a preposition. And sometimes they are made up of a verb and two particles. For example, put up with, which means to tolerate something difficult or annoying. Can you hear that noise all the time? I don't know how to put up with it. Verb, particle, particle. As you can see, the meaning of a phrasal verb is normally unrelated to the meanings of the words that comprise it. Let's look at the phrasal verb get over as an example. The verb get alone means to acquire, and the preposition over alone usually refers to being higher or going above something. However, put them together and the phrasal verb get over as we mentioned, means to recover or to overcome. I had the flu last week, but got over it. A completely new definition that's separate from the definitions of get and over. So think of a phrasal verb as an entirely new and independent form. You can use a phrasal verb just like a normal verb in any form or tense. For example, this sentence was in simple past tense. Just be careful if you conjugate the verb and leave the other words as they are. I get up at noon during the summer. However, this morning I got up at sunset. I have gotten up early too many times this morning. Simply use whatever form of the verb you would use if it were alone. Notice how only the word get changes. Since get is an irregular verb, uses its irregular forms to fit whichever tense it means. But the word up remains the same. In this way, you can use phrasal verbs in all the verb tenses, so you're able to communicate anything you want. In terms of word order, there are two main types of phrasal verbs: separable and inseparable, or we can say non-separable. With separable phrasal verbs, the verb and particle can be apart or together. They've called the meeting off, or they've called off the meeting. Both are completely correct, since call off is a separable phrasal verb. Verb and particle can be separated. However, separable phrasal verbs must be separated when you use a personal pronoun. What is the appropriate pronoun for the meeting? It. They've called it just this one. This one is totally. Another example with pick up, which is separable to I will pick my brother up from the station. I will pick up my brother from the station. I will pick him up from the station. They're all grammatically correct. But this one is wrong. What about non-separable phrasal verbs? Totally opposite. They cannot be split up, and verb and particle must be used together. Who looks after the baby when you're at work? Even when there is a personal pronoun, the verb and particle remain together. Who looks after her when you're at work? So this one and this one are wrong. Compare pick up with vocabulary. Some phrasal verbs are inseparable simply because they don't take an object. I get up at 7 a.m. Get up is a phrasal verb and never uses a direct object. And also, phrasal verbs with two particles are inseparable. Even if you use a personal pronoun, you put it after the particles. I didn't really get on with my stepbrother when I was a teenager. Get on with means to be friendly towards someone. The concert is on Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. Look forward to, be happy and excited about something that is going to happen. Even the pronoun goes after particles. Phrasal verbs with two particles are inseparable. Maybe now you wonder that how you can realize the phrasal verb which you want to use is separable or inseparable. Unfortunately, there are no formulas for that, and you have to memorize them by heart. For that, you can easily check your dictionary. For example, pick up. First, let's check Cambridge. Pick up. Okay, you can see it is written pick someone, something up. So it means it's separable. And now, on man, begin. The same phrasal verb. Okay, the same thing. Pick something, somebody, up. So it says that pick up is a separable phrasal verb. So what about look after? We know that look after is separable phrasal verb. Look after somebody, something. You can see somebody, something is written after phrasal verb. This is a sign that tells us look after is inseparable. And Cambridge, look after, the same thing. Look after someone, something. So by the help of our dictionaries, we can easily understand that the phrasal verb we want to use is separable or inseparable.
Oh, yes, it is very recommendable to use Cambridge Dictionary. So you have exception number 1, exception number 2, and it depends on the meaning. Okay, so yes, it is very recommendable. If you can use it, please do it. Okay, so let's continue with this one.
Antes de orar, oh,
I'm sorry, this is a beautiful video where we are going to find some phrasal verbs.
And if you're thinking, whoa, great, Keith, what are phrasal verbs? Then you really need to watch this. Hello again, this is Keith from the Keith Speaking Academy, here to help you speak better English, give better answers, and get a higher score on IELTS speaking. Now today, I'm going to show you what phrasal verbs are, how exciting they can be, and also why they are important in IELTS speaking, and actually in any natural conversation in English. Right? Also, I will share with you 15 of my favorite phrasal verbs, ones that I think if you use, well, let me put it like this. I think your examiner will go, ooh, interesting. Tick. Let's hope so. Before we begin, let me say a word about learning phrasal verbs, right? How to learn. As with most things in English, like idioms, phrasal verbs, you need to study them, you need to repeat them, but you also need to practice using them in conversations, right? In different kinds of conversations. And for me, one of the best places to do that is Cambly. And Cambly are sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much, Cambly, for this great opportunity. Let me tell you why I like Cambly. I mean, just have a look, right? Cambly, you can find native English speaker tutors, which is great. You've got this English immersion from anywhere in the world. And what I like about Cambly is that not only do you get to choose your tutor, and they've got obviously IELTS tutors who are specialized in IELTS as well. Not only do you have this flexible scheduling, you choose the time, but you've also got specialized curriculum. So you can follow some of the courses they do. For example, IELTS speaking mock test. You can also have this interactive classroom that the teacher can really engage you with. And this is great, like lesson review. Your lesson is recorded, so you can go back and practice again and again. Absolutely brilliant. So you can do a lot more with Cambly. They've got different kinds of plans. Maybe you want for a month, 3 months, or 12 months. And here's the thing. Cambly are offering all of my students, and by the way, if you're watching this, you are my student, right? Cambly are offering a whopping 40% discount. Whopping, what a great word. That just meant very, very big. A whopping 40% discount on their 12-month plan, right? I mean, that's huge, fantastic. So all you need to do is use the promo code P-YT, imagine YT for YouTube, Keith-YT, and you'll get 40% off that 12-month plan. And if you're still not sure, you can also get a free 15-minute lesson, right? On Cambly, just use the link below to get a free 15-minute lesson to try it out and see if it suits you. Brilliant. Let's get into phrasal verbs. Okay, so first of all, what are phrasal verbs? Now, if you've heard of phrasal verbs before, you may have a love-hate relationship with them. Some people love them, some people hate them. I love them, also, right? So a phrasal verb basically is a verb plus a preposition. Right? Prepositions like in, on, under, out, to, away. Prepositions often indicate place or direction. So if we say walk out, it's showing you walk out of the room, walk in, walk away, right? Sit down, sit up, speak up, louder, speak up, right? Increase the volume. So very often you can see the meaning from the words, right? The verb and the preposition. A quick note, if you're a more advanced student or a teacher, you may also hear of the idea of phrasal verb is a verb plus an adverb particle. Now, the adverb particle is the same, right? It's in, on, under, out, away, etc. But sometimes we call it an adverb particle because it's how you do the verb. Right? You walk out is how you walk. It doesn't matter too much at this moment. Let's keep it simple, right? It's a verb plus a preposition. That's the basic package, right? Okay, if you're a teacher, right, a quick tip for teachers. You shouldn't tell students everything you know about a language model. You should tell students what they need to know now, right? Keep it simple. Tell them just enough to understand. Great. Keep on doing a great job, teachers.
All right, we need an ad from Quillbot that really shows off its strengths. We need to say, Quillbot allows you to paraphrase your writing using artificial intelligence. We also need to touch on how it allows you to take an article, paper, or document and condense it into the most important information at the click of a button. We also need to say how it uses natural language processing, which allows you to grab critical information while maintaining original context. Read that back.
How about Quillbot is every writer's dream come true? Make your ideas come to life and demolish that writer's block today.
Now, phrasal verbs are challenging. No, phrasal verbs are fun because they are often idiomatic. That means the meaning of the phrasal verb is different from the individual words. Right? Before, when we said speak up, it's a little bit idiomatic, right? Speak up is not speaking up. It's just to speak more loudly. Speak up. Speak down is much more idiomatic. Speak down is not hello, hello, hello. No, speak down is to talk to somebody like they are less intelligent, a bit stupid, immature, like a child. Right? That's when you speak down to somebody. So it has this idiomatic meaning. Lots of phrasal verbs have idiomatic meanings, which is great. The possibilities are really fun and exciting. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Keith, does that mean I can only use phrasal verbs in speaking? Not at all. You can use phrasal verbs in writing as well. Some of them. Okay, so how do I know whether I use them in writing or in speaking? Simple answer is you look at the context. If you've heard a phrasal verb by listening to it, then you know it can be spoken. If you've learned a phrasal verb by reading it, you know it can be written. Simple as that. Keep it simple. Right, let's begin with my first batch of phrasal verbs. A batch. Okay, a batch is a group, right? But it sounds like I'm a factory manufacturing phrasal verbs. Let's look at my first batch of phrasal verbs to impress your IELTS exams. Now, often in IELTS speaking, we have to talk about work or study, right? Now, a nice little phrasal verb here is to knuckle down. To knuckle down. Hard to pronounce, I know. No, fun to pronounce. Knuckle. Cull. It's the dark L. Knuckle. To knuckle down. And your knuckles are these, right? Here. So when you knuckle down, is when you put your knuckles on the table, like you're really ready to work. And it means to start focusing on your work or your study, right? For example, I work as a teacher and we've got exams coming soon, so we all need to knuckle down. Or I study law and I have my exams soon, so I really need to knuckle down. Right? To focus studying or working. Lovely. Number 2, very often in IELTS speaking part 1, you have a question about can you cook, can you run, can you drive, can you paint, right? Here, a nice phrasal verb is to get round to, or to get around to. We can say round or around, which means to do something you have intended to do, but you've been too busy to do it, but to finally do it. Right? So, for example, if somebody asks somebody, the examiner asks, can you cook? Well, I would love to learn how to cook, but I just haven't got round to it. I've been too busy. I haven't got round to it. Bit like my wife says, you know, have you cleaned the bathroom yet? And I say, no, I've been busy making a YouTube video. I haven't got round to it yet. Next, hobbies. Right? We often talk about free time or hobbies in IELTS and spending time maybe watching movies, reading books, scrolling on your phone. So here, a nice phrasal verb, to while away. And I would link while away, while away. And this means to spend time in a relaxed way, right? And it's separable to while away the afternoon or to while the morning away, spending time doing something. For example, I love to while away the afternoon watching movies. What about you? How do you while away?
Okay, so we're going to stop until this part, please. Because I'm not doing that well. Okay. The good news is that I already changed my internet connection. So now I'm far from Intel. I hope it works. I really hope that. So if you have any question, just let me know, okay? We're going to review the lesson in class. Okay, so don't worry about anything. Don't forget the homework.